The story of man who turned into a bird. In the past, Lang Son was a sacred forest and poisonous water, a place to exile people with serious crimes. The animal soldiers who were transferred to Lang Son, stationed in Dong Dang or Ky Lua, also suffered the same hardships as those in exile. The Chinese invaders often invaded and harassed and killed many people, in addition to being separated from family and relatives. Even if he was not killed, his heart would be withered by the sacred forest, poisoned water, or sadness. At that time, there was an animal soldier named Tran who moved from the lowlands to a guard post in Lang Son. The animal guard has been there for 4 long years, and the animal soldier has not been allowed to visit home once. One night, it was his turn to guard from 2nd to 4th watch in front of the front door. He was thoughtful like a philosopher. For a long time he wondered, why do I have a rooster, a toad, a tall tree, a tree born in the sky like that? Why can and number 39, dogs eat rice if they have teeth? Why can a toothless chicken eat rice? Why do turtles that live in water come to land to lay eggs? Why is the hook tree the same as a tall tree? The hook tree has flowers in the middle of the trunk, and the areca tree has flowers at the tip. Many of these questions kept popping up in his mind, but Mr. Tran still could N and #39 find it. What answer? Meanwhile, in the palace, the mandarin guarding the city tossed and turned, unable to sleep. He listened outside, the steady sound of drums on 3 sides of the city. Only the facade is silent, no drums can be heard. A few days ago, there was a secret report that a group of robbers were coming from China. They could sneak into the city during the night to rob the city. If the 4 sides of the citadel were not strictly guarded, there would be no disaster for the people. Thinking so, the official was very worried, so he called a soldier to follow him to observe the 4 gates of the citadel. The 3 gates, left, right, and back, were all strictly guarded, but when they reached the front gate, there was silence somewhere. Suspicious, the official stepped closer and saw the soldier surnamed Tran sitting daydreaming, his gun placed behind his back, not bothering to look. The mandarin of the citadel approached, but Mr. Tran did not know anything. While he was immersed in thought, the officer immediately took the gun and brought it back to the palace and sent a team officer to axe. At that moment, Mr. Tran was startled and looked for the gun, but the gun had disappeared. Understanding that losing a gun on guard duty would result in a death sentence, Mr. Tran immediately followed the officer to the mandarin to ask for forgiveness. Veen, the official said coldly, "If you are so indifferent on guard, what if robbers come here? So many lives are in your hands, yet you have the heart to underestimate the idea that death is worth it." Cousin Tran cried out, "You really deserve to die, but please let me explain a few words, then you will die. I could N and #39 help it." The official said, "Then you can explain it." Cousin Tran said, "You have many things that you can and number 39 explain. For example, why can a dog with teeth not eat rice? Why can a toothless chicken eat rice? Why do turtles that live in water come to land to lay eggs? What about the toad that lives on land and goes into the water to lay eggs? Why is the hook tree similar to the areca tree? The hook tree has flowers in the middle of the trunk, while the areca tree has flowers at the tip. Please explain to me how many contradictory things this is. If you can explain it, even if I die, my heart will no longer be filled with resentment. Even if you think like crazy, you won. And number 39. Be able to explain the phenomena created by Tao. Arrangements have been made. But could it be that if I told Mr. Tran the truth, I would turn out to be just as stupid as him? So I had to keep him in custody to wait for me to think. Days passed, and one day the official ordered him to return to Hanoi. During this period, a large number of Western missionaries came to Hanoi. They met a priest and a mandarin and asked about contradictory phenomena. The priest was a naturalist, so he answered very clearly, like this: dogs are carnivores, so the Creator was born with hard and sharp teeth to chew and tear prey. Chickens only have beaks but no teeth, but there is a lot of solution, saliva, to absorb and soften hard grains like rice grains. Then the chicken gizzard is like a mill that grinds hard objects into powder. Even though turtles live underwater, they breathe with 2 air-covered lungs, so sometimes turtles have to rise to the surface to breathe fresh air. When its lungs are full of air, it can dive into the water as usual. Toads also have a respiratory system like that, so the female has to give birth on the ground, so that when they hatch, they can breathe air to grow quickly before entering the water. Toads are lung-breathing animals like turtles, but tadpoles breathe through gills, so tadpoles can only live underwater, but when they reach adulthood, they lose their tails and deform, their lungs form, and the tadpoles turn into toads and jump ashore. That and number 39. Why we see toads giving birth in the water, while tortoises give birth on the ground to preserve the species. Although the hook tree and the areca tree are of the same variety, the Creator wanted these 2 trees to produce different flowers and fruits. The hook tree blooms in the middle of the stem. It only blooms once and then withers, just like a banana tree only flowers and bears fruit once. The areca tree blooms at the top. Each year it can bloom up to 2 areca chambers, and then it flowers and bears fruit many times. As if discovering the most secret things of creation, the mandarin was very pleased. Happy, he immediately returned to Lang Son to meet cousin Tran to explain to him. But when the official returned, cousin Tran fell ill and died a few days earlier. His body was buried next to the river bank. He died at the holy hour, so he turned into a bird day and night, crying out pitifully these words: turtle, toad, hook chamber, areca chamber. The mandarin thought that his cousin Tran had died unjustly and that his soul was still lingering with questions, so he turned into a spirit bird and built a temple to worship him on the shore, which still exists today. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.